Yo, what's up, man? It's Lance motherfucking Tom. It's the Cool and Calm podcast tonight. How y'all doing today?
Yo, hey, thank you everyone for tapping in. We got a very special guest tonight. Go ahead and introduce yourself, fam.
Hi, I'm JP, aka Jollibeats,
Uh,
Yes,
and I'm a
sir.
producer from the Bay Area.
the Bay fucking area where the best producers are from. You hear that, Atlanta?
Yay! Yay!
Um, yeah. But before we get into it, I mean, how you guys been? How you been, Lance? Everything been cool?
Good. Just copped another box of cards. The NBA Hoops 1990, 1991. I can't wait to rip those.
Bro, you have an addiction. You got a problem.
I do, man. I do.
You got a
That's
problem, man. It's worse than
Hey, man,
drugs.
we're in quarantine. We're in quarantine, bro. There's nothing else to do.
I guess you're right. What about you, JP? You been good, fam? Everything's been good with you?
Yeah, just working from home, gaming, and watching anime here and there.
Oh, dude, I feel it. I feel it. All right, but we got a lot of questions. We're actually really excited. You're the first producer that we have on the podcast, and me and Lance are like big ass like beat junkies. So it's
Yes,
gonna
a
be
lot of questions.
a lot of questions. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I mean, you said it. We said it in the intro, but like, why don't you kind of give us like the background, like, who are you? What do you go by? And like, where are you from?
All right, so I go by Jollibeats when I'm making music. Back before that though, I would rap under the name Jurassic, which is
Oh my
kind of
God,
weird.
yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I
Okay.
totally
So you're a
forgot
rapper
about
before.
that.
Okay, cool.
I was born in San Francisco, raised in Richmond, and currently residing in San Pablo.
Nice,
So
nice, nice.
all
So you've been
over
around the Bay,
Yeah.
all
all over the
over
Bay
the
Area.
bay. Dang,
Yes,
but
yes.
okay. Yo, that's crazy. I totally forgot that you used to rap under that name.
Yeah, that was from
Dang.
like the days of old.
Dude, that's crazy because we had like Lumi Ghouls or Ryan last week on the podcast and we were talking about it, and um I wasn't sure if he was cool with it, but he was, because I was asking him about like, hey dude, do you remember like when you had that like collaborative group like Cable Car Stars and everything, right? And he was like, yo dude, that's crazy, no one ever asked me about that. So it was like really fun talking about that, but he was like, yo, it's kind of cringe talking about it, like you thinking back about it and everything, like this, like who we were back then and like the music we were making. But I was like, yo, dude, that was like a big part of like my childhood, because I was friends with Brandon and Chris, and then like
Mhm.
you and Ryan were hella cool, and it was just like I remember Brandon passing out like those flyers in like middle school and everything, so like in a way like that kind of like influenced my taste in music and everything. So y'all guys were some cool cats.
We tried to be. I think that was the goal. But I guess the reason why we thought it was so cringe, at least now, is
Mm.
because like when you put stuff out like in the past and you look back on it, like the good thing about it is that you'll see how far you've come, but at the same time you'll pick up on all the things you wish you hadn't done, if that makes sense.
You hadn't done it. Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah, like we can get into that later on if we talk about my
Yeah.
whole rap career before I started producing.
I got you, man. Dude, I gotta wonder. I gotta ask. How'd you get your name, bro? How'd you get your name?
So, being of Filipino descent,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm pretty sure like amongst Asians, the whole Jollibees chain is pretty popular.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to come up with something clever. And because I make beats, I thought, why not represent my ethnicity with what I love and do, right? So I put
Yeah,
The Jollibees with beats together and just came up with Jolly Beats.
dude,
Jollibeats,
that's sick. I,
Jollibeats.
I like I like I like the name, like Jollibeats. It's so catchy, bro. Like it's
Yeah,
a
I like it's
dope ass
simple.
name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's sick.
And all your beats are
I got
pretty happy. I get that, like
Yeah.
good vibes, like just like it's gonna be a good day whenever like I listen to like any songs you produce and everything. It's just
Mhm.
it's a vibe, man. Um, so when did you get into production? And I guess we can also go into like you said you were rapping before you got into producing. So, well, if you don't mind, how about like you give us like the whole rundown, like the whole story of like how it all came to be and everything.
Yeah, I feel like I have to because I can't just be like, oh, one day I started to like just wanted to make beats.
Uh huh.
Mm.
Uh huh.
Uh, so we're gonna take it back all the way to eighth grade,
Oh,
and this
okay.
is
Ooh,
around the time
shit. Okay, got you.
me
I
and
got you.
This is gonna be 2002 when me and Ryan started rapping. So we were into like poetry and all that, and then we would beatbox here and there. So we'd kind of just like come up with like acapella beats and just rap to it, or we'd like, if you guys remember Newgrounds, like we used to
Oh
like,
my god.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
we used to like pick
Newgrounds.
up beats off of there before people started posting stuff on like YouTube. So we'd like freestyle and rap to those beats, and then originally because my name was JP, aside from the usual, oh, what does it stand for, like John Paul,
Mm-hmm.
some people would be like, oh, does it stand for like Jurassic Park? And I'm like,
Oh.
okay. So I took the Jurassic part, and then because it was
Oh
like the year
shit.
2000s, I did that whole stupid kind of spell it in a unique way. So
Oh
instead of the whole
shit.
Jurra, or what was it? Is it Jurassic?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
spelled it Jerazzik, just to
Oh,
kind of put a little spin on it.
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Yep.
So
Okay.
I
Damn. That's
went
dope.
under that name when I started rapping. And
Mm-hmm.
originally, before Ryan was Lumi Cools, he went under the name Demise.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so it was
Oh shit.
Jurassic and Demise.
Oh
And
okay.
then by the time we hit high school, I met another dude that was rapping. His name was Marlon, so he went by MC.
Mm-hmm.
And then the three of us formed like this little group called Trouble Clef MCs.
Oh my god, I remember
Wow.
that. Oh shit.
Shit.
Yeah. So
Yes.
this was
Yes.
before
Yes.
Ryan got picked up by Cable Car Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually he started working with both groups.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Um, so in eighth grade, and I'm pretty sure Ryan talked about this last week in the interview. We used to listen to a lot of Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You
So
did.
at
You
the
did mention it.
time, that heavily influenced the kind of hip hop that I listened to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're familiar with their music, it's not even like gangster rap. They kind of categorize themselves as thugs.
Yeah.
So I picked up on that mentality, and I was like, okay, I want to be hard. I want to be a thug too.
Uh-huh.
And this is the whole where I feel like it's super cringy because being that was so far from who I actually was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, so when I rap, I would pretend to be like this thug, but in actuality, I was this dude that like played video games, liked anime, all that stuff.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
then
yeah,
you
yeah.
wouldn't see like the same person like living in the same body.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I kept up that facade all throughout high school. And I was just like this guy trying to be hard, trying to come up with all these raps and stuff. And the reason why I didn't like it was because I didn't feel original at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always like scrounge around for beats. And eventually, by the time I was a senior, like in 2006, I got tired of asking people for beats. So I was like, all right, let me try my hand at making my own. And I picked up my first program, which was FL Studio, and I liked it because it was super intuitive and easy to work with. And so, because I already played piano, I had that as a like a basis to work off of. So I would come up with these chords and then put like a kick to it, a snare, hi hat, and I was like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, this is not so bad. And then I started noticing other producers that would like sample, and then the moment I heard like the original samples to like a lot of the more popular beats, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like I like this kind of sound.
Mm,
Dude,
shit.
yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting. That's good. That's
Mhm.
dope.
So I started to listen to like a lot of Jay Dilla. So he
Mm-hmm.
heavily influenced
Ooh.
a lot of my
Oh,
music.
okay. Okay.
And then because I was into anime, uh Samurai Champloo was one of my tops. And all the producers in that anime heavily influenced me, especially Nujabes. So Jay Dilla and Nujabes were the top two producers that I looked up to, but I didn't want to just imitate that sound. I kind of wanted to mesh both of their styles together to come up with something that I could call my own.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time I hit college, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drop the whole Jurassic name. I'll still rap and all that, but I want to focus on making something that people could just like groove to. So then I picked up the name Jollibeats, and I started like digging through crates, looking for samples, trying to find something like how would I flip this and make it sound like something someone would want to listen to and would feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, that is crazy.
Damn. That's
Dude, you dropped like a bunch of names and everything that I totally forgot. Like treble clef MCs, dude. I completely forgot about that. That is damn, dude. Like what a trip. Um,
Crazy.
dude, Jay Dilla and Nujabes were like two of like you said. I guess you could say like they're two of your favorite producers or
Mhm.
two people that you really drew a bunch of inspiration from, and those are two of my favorite producers too. Like Nujabes is probably like number one on my list of like
Mhm.
favorite producers, and I don't know what it is. Like I couldn't like nail it why I just loved his production so much because I felt that like Nujabes was kind of like the opposite of Jay Dilla in a
Yeah,
sense
they're
Mhm.
like
because
two different sides of a spectrum.
yeah, because like Nujabes was really kind of like really simple and kind of clean. He had like some really dope. I guess the similarities that they have that I could draw is that their sample game is like crazy, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
samples they use and everything. But like Nujabes was like more kind of like jazzy, so like a lot of piano and I guess like a lot of guitar samples or like wind instruments
Mhm.
and but Jay Dilla was like I don't even know how to describe his beats. It
Masterful.
yes, besides that, it's just it's so crazy. Like I mean, I guess they kind of do the whole was it like oh shit, I can't remember what genre of music it is from. It's like from Brazil or like South America. Um bossa nova? Like is that a genre? I don't know. Just
It
like that
is.
type of
Yeah.
yeah, like those type of like sounds and everything incorporated into like some of their stuff and I was
Mhm.
just um I was crazy about that.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty sick. Jay Dillon. That's pretty good inspiration from beat making. Do you have any besides that? Do you have any other artists that you were inspired by? Like when you first started rapping, did you like a favorite rapper that you looked up to, or
Yeah, you mentioned Bone Thugs, like you guys were
yeah,
both
Bone
like really
Mhm.
into
Thugs,
Bone
So
Thugs.
out of Bone Thugs, my favorite was Busy Bone.
Busy Bone? Okay,
Yeah, and then eventually when I started branching away from like that kind of hip hop,
Hmm.
I started to listen to another, I guess, inspiration for as far as rapping goes would be Jin the MC or MC Jin, if you guys are familiar
okay,
with him.
yeah, yeah,
Jin.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
All right.
Super popular on Freestyle Fridays way
Yes,
back in the day.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, dude. Freestyle prizes, those man.
I
Good.
remember that. Damn, Jin. Okay, yeah, you know, gotta represent the Asians.
Hmm.
That's sick. That's sick, man. Dude, do you remember the first beat you ever made? And do you have a favorite beat that you produced?
First beat I ever made, that would have to be a sample of the Jackson Five's "All I Do Is Think of You."
Wow.
That
Yeah.
is yes.
Wow. Holy
Mm,
crap.
mm,
Okay.
Like it was a
mm,
super
mm.
easy one. Like I took the melody
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much just pitched it up about like four semitones and then added a kick, snare, hi hat, and then called it a day.
Oh,
And
shit.
then favorite beat I've done. I'm not sure if you've heard my single special, but that's probably the last song that I put out where I was in love with the sample and the beat was just I was just super impressed with the finished product.
Do you know my favorite beat from you, man? The Let Me song with the Lumi Cools is oh
Oh, that's a good one.
man, that
That is a good one.
ah, I'm a sucker for those kinds of types of beats, bro. It just
Yo,
sounds so amazing with that, man. It's one of those types of beats when you just it just builds up a little bit and then just oh man. It's dope. I love that. I love that beat you made,
Hey
man.
man, appreciate it.
so
How long took you to do that beat by chance?
Um, it's crazy. Like sometimes I can spit out a beat in like as little as 20 minutes. And it's
Okay.
not because I'm like half-assing it. It's just sometimes if I'm feeling a sample like super hard, I'll already know what I want to do with it, how I want to chop it up, how I want to arrange like all the segments of the sample to make it sound the way I want it to. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, I'll start beatboxing over it. Once I get that pattern down, I'll go ahead and lay down the program. and then start filling it in with like different kinds of kicks, snares, hi hats until it sounds good to me. And then once it's done, then I put it out. Sometimes, if inspiration is a little slow, it could take maybe as long as like an hour or 2 hours. But on good days, it'll be like 20,
What?
30 minutes. Yeah.
God,
What? Hold.
a
eh,
slow day is
The
1 to 2 hours.
slow day is an hour.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay. And then
That.
fast days are 20 minutes.
Hold up,
That's
fam.
nuts.
Hold
That's
up.
really that's still
That
fast. An hour, 2 hours,
I thought you were gonna say, yeah, if I'm like really slugging at it, it's gonna take me like maybe a month or something, because I just, but damn, an hour, I still feel like that's super fast, dude.
Yeah.
Hour, that's crazy. So, here's a question. So, I guess it's like really difficult now. Me and Lance always talk about, um, we really miss mixtapes in hip hop when
Ooh.
everyone was dropping like fire ass mixtapes. And I guess part of the reason why like mixtapes kind of went away was one, streaming. Streaming's like the popular way, or is like the most popular thing now, right? And
Mhm.
so people aren't really releasing like even digital mixtapes or anything. And then also too because it's so difficult now to clear samples and everything, cuz some of my favorite mixtapes were like rappers rapping over someone else's beat,
Mhm.
doing like a freestyle or whatever. And like do you kind of like miss that too?
I miss it a lot actually. Like I get the whole convenience of streaming,
Mhm.
but what made a mixtape so good, especially like if a rapper puts it out, right? The one big secret that made any mixtape sound good is because all the tracks on a mixtape is
Mhm.
pretty much the artist putting everything on the line. Like
Yes.
you create a mixtape because you want to be heard. You want producers to hear you and be
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
"Yo, did you hear this guy's mixtape? Let's maybe get him to the studio and sign him for a couple tracks."
Mhm.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
make a mixtape, you're trying to pretty much put everything you've got on the table and just pray that I get picked up. But then because the platform now is streaming, I don't want to say the industry is just saturated with everyone just trying to get out there,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
there are still people that make music just for the sake of making music, like it's their
Mhm.
passion, it's what they love to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because of that convenience, anyone could just like drop a beat or drop like
Yeah.
a verse like it's nothing. And it's not like they're not trying their hardest to put everything out there like back in the day.
Mhm.
It's just when you have that kind of ease of access and you get like say a producer from a major label,
Mhm.
it's harder for them to sift out the ones that are truly like trying to make music a career out
Yeah.
of like their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of
So
just kind of
Yeah.
being like a
yeah,
viral sensation or whatever,
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
Lance, you
Oh
talk
shit.
about it all the time, right? It's also kind of like information overload, right? There's just like
Mhm.
new music coming out like every what, Thursday, Friday, Lance.
Yeah, I say this to everybody I interview. Like streaming is so scary because music comes out. It's gonna come out. It came out today, like 9 o'clock, right? Like it's so crazy because there's so much albums that you come out in the streaming. It sucks too because there's so many albums coming out that like some albums get overdrawn by other albums and you won't be able to listen to them. I still have like 20 albums I haven't listened to, and I just download them. Like I only listen to like a couple albums here and there, like my favorite rappers and stuff. But like new people, I still have like 20 albums I still have to listen to, and it's scary because music you just get like that now. It just
Mhm.
which is nuts to me,
Yeah,
man.
it's the ease of access, which is like cool, but at the same time, it's like yeah, the information overload and everything.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know, so you kind of we talked about like how fast or how long it takes you to like make a beat and everything. So like, what's the whole process? Uh, I I'm a person that's really avid. Like I think what makes a great producer is well, I don't know if this is their yeah, fuck it. So I think what makes a really great producer is like their sample game, dude. Like what do you have back there that you're just waiting to like kind of just like take apart, chop up, throw it, and then like put your own little twist on it, and then make it into like a fire ass beat. Um, in my opinion, like that's what makes a really dope producer. Like, there's more to that, but like, yeah. So, what's the process you go through and everything?
So the most organic way I could describe it is sometimes I could just be in a department store,
Mm-hmm.
um, and something like there are some that I'll just play really old songs, which I love,
Uh-huh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'll be in the store and I'll hear something go off, and I'll either hear like a snippet of like say the bridge or like the chorus or something from the intro,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll just like click like that. Like if I hear something that sounds good, I'd be like, wait, I could sample that. So then I'll
Yeah.
take out my phone, Shazam it, see what it is, and
Damn.
then look it up later and give it a listen. And then if I'm trying to like look for samples, then my go-to would just be like, you know, your normal crate digging. You go to like record stores like Rasputin, Amoeba,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Just go through it, try to find like some of the older stuff, like pre 1990s. Like your moms and pop stores are good like sources too. You'll
Mm-hmm.
find
Mm-hmm.
like gems if they're throwing out like old records, and then you just be like, hey, let me buy this box full of records, and they'll be like, all right, yeah, I'll give it to you for like 20 bucks. And then when you get home with it and you go through it, you'll find something like super rare, and then you'll play it and you'll be like, yo, no one sampled this. And then from
Yep.
there, I'll just grab the song, upload it, and then try to see what I could do with it. And then that's when I start chopping it up. If I'm feeling lazy and I hear like a good melody, I'll just pretty much loop that. If I'm feeling a little more creative, I'll break up a sample into segments and then see how I can rearrange it or trigger it on the pads to see like what kind of melody can sound good that
Mm-hmm.
deviates from the original,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a lot easier to get away with samples if you can make it as unrecognizable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if it's too recognizable, anyone could go after you for it and be like, "Hey, you grabbed this
Wow.
from so and so," and it's like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, the
Yeah.
sample game now is crazy. Like anyone
Yeah.
can go after you for like the
Yes.
smallest thing. Like if it
Yes.
sounds similar to something that's already out there and you don't have the rights to it,
Yeah.
that's pretty much a lawsuit, or they'll pretty much just throw a cease and desist at you, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I'll just take it down. Like it's not
Yeah.
worth the trouble.
Yeah.
But half the time, like if a sample is owned by like a major record label, and because if you're not big enough and you're not making money off of that sample, they won't care. Like
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
until you start like getting a cash flow win for something, then they'll start asking for like things like royalties. Do you have exclusive rights? And just like, okay, now you just got to go through the paperwork.
Oh,
But
that. Yeah.
going back to the process, once I find a sample I want to play with, I actually don't lay down a beat on like FL Studio just yet. I actually just start beatboxing to it until I come up with something that I like. And then
Okay.
after that, I'll map out what I can beatbox with my mouth and just kind of copy it as best as possible. And
Mm-hmm.
like it's easy because I could just move around all the bits and pieces. And then once I have like that skeleton laid down, then I'd start filling in like the kicks, snares, and hi hats with like different sounds from different drum kits, because you can't just like rely on the same drum kit over and over. Otherwise, all your beats are just gonna sound the same. So I kind of like vary it up. And then after that, once I have my intro, my verses and chorus down, I'll mix and master the track and then put it out there. Sometimes, if I want to just release a standalone beat just for anyone to listen to,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just go ahead and upload it to Instagram or YouTube. And then there are times where I'll put beats on reserve because I'm like, okay, this sounds like it'll be good if someone just hopped on this track.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are some beats where it's good by itself, but it'll sound better with someone else on it.
Yes, I get that.
Damn.
I get
That's
that.
dude. Your explanation of what you did, fucking like it's interesting as fuck, dude. Like
Of
I want to
course.
ask you. I want to ask you this. Like you're a producer, right? Do you feel like your mind is so much different from like any other person's? Because like you saying like you went to a department store, you hear a song, you feel like you can sample it, and that it clicks in your mind, you Shazam it, and then you
Mm-hmm.
just like decipher it. Do you feel like your mind is so much different? Because I feel like my mind is so different from other people. Because with the music, in
Mhm.
my mind, I like listen to it, decipher the lyrics, where's the beats from, how you get what's the lyrics mean, and my mind's just jumbling with music. Like, do you feel like your brain is so much different from other people?
Sometimes the way you described it almost sounds like have you seen the movie A Beautiful Mind?
I have not. No,
Beautiful mind. I
I
Yeah,
have
haven't.
not though.
it's almost like, I'm not saying it's like ADHD, but for music, where like you're kind of in your own world, but you kind of are in your own world, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
No.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Hell
Yes.
yeah. Hell
the
yeah.
way someone like perceives music will always differ from the way someone else perceives it. Like
Yeah,
someone could be listening to some hip hop track, right? And they'll be like,
yeah,
"Yo, this guy's a dope rapper." And then for someone that's more experienced, like say they've rapped before or like have been to like shows and stuff, they can be like, "Oh yeah, that he's dope," but have you ever actually like taken and listened to his lyrics? Like, have you deciphered all the nuances, the way his delivery is delivered, and then like just all these little intricate details that not a lot of people will like actually look into unless you just dissect the track from like the bottom
yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yes, yes, man, yes. Like I'm telling you, all three of our brains are probably the same, dude. I swear to you, like it's crazy because, like I said, bro, I decipher music in like every single day. I decipher lyrics, beats, where they come from, why the lyrics are like this. It's a crazy thing, and I feel like my mind is so different from other people.
Yeah, you.
And dude, oh, go ahead, go.
No, 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 no. You can finish, man.
But yeah, it's that's why I wanted to get into your side, your mind, because when you're describing everything you said, dude, it's fucking interesting. Like you walk into a fucking department store and you're hearing that shit. Like that's what I do too. Like I always listen to like because department stores got some slappers, got
They
some
do.
beats, man. They do. They got some like instant slappers, bro. And I it's crazy you said that. Like it just sparked my mind. It's so weird. It's crazy. Like since we're talking about beats, man, how do you feel about the like lo-fi wave that's been going on? Because you make lo-fi escape beats as well too. So how do you
Mm.
feel about the wave coming back? You know?
It's weird because like back when I got into New Jabez,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know that genre
Mm-hmm.
was considered
Mm-hmm.
lo-fi. Like
Yup.
to
So
me,
I don't want to sound like the hipster, but you
no,
know,
like to me, hip hop was hip hop, and then
yes,
maybe like 5, 7 years later, they're like, okay, this kind of hip hop is considered lo-fi, and I'm like, oh, what's lo-fi?
dude.
So
Yes.
like I had to like sit back and think about it, right? I'm like, okay, so people are considering new job as like lo-fi.
Mhm,
So I started looking to like other, I guess, producers that made similar beats or that fell into the category of lo-fi.
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
And then the simplest way, because like I don't want it's as a producer, it sounds bad to be like, oh, a beat's a beat, but
mhm.
it's not. A beat's not
Yeah.
just a beat. But the simplest way I can define lo-fi is something that's it's organic, but at the same time, it has like this like atmospheric feel to it where it'll set like this ambiance of like a mellow kind of tone that just lets you just sit back, relax, and just enjoy.
Mhm,
Mm-hmm.
Like there are other kinds of hip hop where it'll be more aggressive or it'll be a little more fast paced or it'll be like something more catered to the lyricist. And then so I started to understand the idea of okay, so lo-fi is pretty much just chill music. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, like that's the
mm,
best way I can explain what lo-fi is. So after I kind of wrapped my head around that concept, I wasn't mad about it. I was like, all right, if you guys want to categorize it as lo-fi, that's cool. It's still hip hop to me, and I'll still make hip hop music.
Mm-hmm.
But if it falls under this certain like niche, then I'm like, all right, cool. I can cater to you if that's the kind of sound that you want to listen to.
mhm,
And then so I started experimenting with it, and I realized I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty much what I've been making. It's just a little more fine tuned to
Mm-hmm.
like
mhm.
something super chill. Yeah.
It's,
Jeez.
dude. I agree with like everything you say, especially like the like you saw my reaction with like, yo, what the fuck is lo-fi? Because I was the same shit, dude. Like
Yeah, I didn't know what that was
one
either,
of like the
man.
most popular things you could go on YouTube right now is like look up like lo-fi hip hop beats, whatever, and it has like that
Mhm.
24-hour stream with like the girl doing homework or
Yeah,
whatever, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Like
yeah.
one of my homies showed me that, and I was like, this is lo-fi. I was like, what the fuck's lo-fi? Isn't this just like hip hop? Like Nujabes made hip hop beats that where I called it jazz hop. You know, like it was
Mhm.
like a lot of it to me was felt very like jazz inspired. You
Mhm.
know, and with his samples and everything, and like you talking about like other artists, I think of. I think of like that time period when I discovered him, and you you do like the crazy like research because like you obsess over it. It's something new and like you fucking love it, right? So like Nujabes led me to discover who like Nomak was, and then Nomak led me to
Yo.
like who Marcus D was. Marcus D collabs with like Substantial, Pace Rock, what was it, Psystar, like all them, and then like it was full circle like that.
Hmm.
Cradle Orchestra, Shingo 2. Well, he's a rapper, but who else? Like just that whole like circle of people and everything. It was so crazy, and it the lo-fi, like hearing some lo-fi beats. I don't know, this is like me being like old and bitter and shit, but like some of the lo-fi beats that I hear now are kind of, I don't want to say like they sound too alike because there are some things that do sound like pretty different and everything, but I always like compare them to like those other like those producers that I just named and everything, and how like they all kind of had a similar sound, but like they were all unique in their own way. Like they all kind of like in a, I guess like kind of like specialized in something
Hmm.
in a way. I don't know. It's crazy, the whole lo-fi wave and everything. But a long ass time ago, I was probably middle school, so this is probably like early 2000s. I remember hearing a song that you produced, um, and I didn't know it until like way later, until like 2012. But it was the sample. The sample you used was like Aurorian Dance, which was produced by like Nujabes and Fat John, and
Hmm.
you talked about it earlier. Like you like anime was like a big inspiration, specifically like Samurai Champloo. But like, how big of an influence was like that anime and like Nujabes and everything for you?
Man, I can't even begin to describe. Like, the anime itself was good, and it's up there because it was something I grew up with on Adult Swim. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably the where I found it the first
Mm.
time. And then it's weird because like all of the hip hop producers on that anime, like for the entire soundtrack, I don't want to say they were drowned out, but like you'll only hear like the faintest like hint of it when you're actually watching it, right? Like you don't get like an overpowered sense of it. But then when you actually look into it, like check out the discography for
Yes.
I want to say there's like at least 3 or 4 albums just for Samurai Champloo alone.
Oh, there are tons, dude. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and you'll find producers like New Jabez, Fat John, Suchi.
Sushi. Oh shit.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes. Force, was it Forces of Nature? Were they on there too? Oh, what just happened? Hold up. Oh, I think JP just DC'd. We're having some technical difficulties right now. Hold up, he's coming
Oh.
back. Oh, yo, am I being interviewed now? Oh, there we go.
Okay.
We back, fam. We back. We back. We
We
good. We
good?
good.
We Gucci?
Yeah, I said
Where do I
Forces
leave
of
off?
Nature. Force of
That's a
Nature, I
good one.
think. Yes.
Force of Nature. Departure was a good one too. But as far as the influence goes, like now that I think about it, and because you guys mentioned the whole lo-fi thing earlier,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to draw a line between lo-fi producers now and then producers like New Jabez back then, I want to say as far as beats are sounding like right now, I noticed a lot of them is like a it would be like a sample, but they would like pitch it down, slow it down,
Mhm. Mhm.
and yeah, slow it down to the point where it's just like you can make like a TikTok video out of it, basically. And then when
Mm.
you listen to someone like Nujab is, he'll sample like an array of instruments, like a guitar, pianos, flutes, and like all these different things. And then he'll mix those up with like actual samples too, like vocal samples.
Mhm.
And then because he's a DJ, he'll throw in like scratches here and there so that you don't forget the kind of roots where he comes from. And so when you mesh all of that together, it just creates this sound that resonates with you. So the first time I heard him, I was just like, "Yo, this kind of music is like is different. Like it's hip hop, but it's different." And I don't know, like sometimes as a listener, when you listen to like certain genres, beats, or like tracks, it'll just evoke like all these emotions, thoughts, and like
Yeah.
everything, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And then once that happens, that's the moment you pretty much develop a connection with the artist. And then that's when you start doing your research, you get into their
Hmm.
whole discography,
Dude, you're
you
like
listen
fucking reading
to
my mind right now.
yeah, like you start listening to everything they ever made from like when they started to where they are now.
Bro,
And
where
it's
have you been my whole life, bro? You're
Damn, Lance, you
you just
crushing.
became my best friend, bro. Because that's what I do, bro. That's what I do too.
Mhm.
It's crazy. Sorry, go on, man.
But yeah, that's pretty much just how inspiration and influence starts. Like when you're feeling someone, you'll look into them and they might have no idea who you are. Like you could be like a complete nobody, but because they put their music out there and it touched you in that way, that connection's there even if the artist knows it or not. And then at that point, they pretty much just light a spark. And from there, you either stay listening to their music or you start making music similar to theirs because they
Hmm.
inspired you so much. And then
Hmm.
God,
that's
yeah,
pretty much how
yes.
New Job has influenced me. So I heard him on Samurai Champloo. I checked out the whole discography, found Fat John Suchi and him, and then I started listening more to him. Found his discography, listened to more of his older works. Like the whole he had like the Ristorante mixtape, and there's like two.
Oh
Oh man,
yes.
and like not a lot of people would know that, but then there you go again with the whole mixtape stuff. And then so I listened to all that, and it's just like, yo, there's just a plethora of different like sounds he like experimented with up until to the point where he got big because of Samurai Champloo. And then I was like, okay, I could pretty much do what he did. I just gotta find like my starting place, and then
Hmm.
he was my starting place.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yo,
Sheesh,
I
dude.
I feel that, and also
Uh,
like just backtracking a little bit and talking about like the anime specifically, how you said that like, you don't even like notice some of like the beats or the songs on the anime. It's
Mhm.
so subtle. It could just be like, it. They're just walking somewhere, and then you kind of just play it off as like the background noise or whatever, right? Like it's
Mhm.
just it's there, but then if you really pay attention to it, it's just like yo, dude, like that's a banger. Was it? I don't remember if it was like the opening or the credits where they play Battle Cry.
That was the opening, yeah.
Yeah, in the opening, yeah, they play Battle Cry, and it's like, oh, it's just another anime opening. It's like the opening soundtrack or the opening song and everything. You don't really pay attention to it, but then it's like it fits so perfectly, dude. And it's crazy. I'm just going down like this like super like nostalgic trip right now. I'm gonna like cry or something, man.
Hey, don't think, man. Hey, I got a question before. I forgot to ask this, but what do you think about sampling? Like, do you love the vibes of sampling? Do you think
Ooh.
it's sometimes too much? Do you think that like sometimes people are sampling so much that it's just the same song over and over? Like, why do you feel about
Mm.
sampling?
Yeah, do you think it should be like a balance? Because I feel that I love samples and everything. Like people having like this crazy sample library, but then I feel that you also need like the right balance between like the samples and then like original works, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying. So sampling, the way I look at it, it's pretty much like how a painter works with like a palette, right?
Hmm.
So you'll have all these different samples you could choose from, including your drum kits. And
Mm-hmm.
you want to strike this balance where you can showcase the sample, but at the same time you want to be able to you want to be able to like mix in your style to it. Like every artist has the opportunity to flip a sample however they want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
can either speed it up, slow it down, pitch it up, pitch it down, and then just the way you chop up a sample will pretty much define how that song will become. And then adding your own drums is just another layer to it. It's kind of like crafting the perfect sundae.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to have all the right scoops of ice cream, chocolate, nuts, bananas, what have you. And then in the end, if it doesn't taste good, you just scrap it, go back to the drawing board. But if it does taste good, then you put it out there. But as far as sampling is concerned, like it's a good mix of everything. Like sometimes you can hear like the same sample over and over, and it gets kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there are other times where someone will flip it so well that even if you've heard this sample get flipped by all these other artists like a ton of times, because this specific artist flipped it the way they did it, it's like, yo, he did it the way it's supposed to be. Or like say it, yeah, it's all just about resonance basically. So five different artists can flip the same sample and each one will pretty much appeal to a different audience or person. So
Mm,
it's kind of like that, yeah.
good. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I didn't see it like that. That's cool. That's dope. Do you have a favorite sample by chance, like on the top of your head that you like that love
Oh,
that the artist was like, man, you like, man, that sample's dope. I love that sample.
that's a tough one because, like, for me, it's more so like a specific sound.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a sucker for like piano, guitar,
Yo,
and
me
strings.
too. Me too.
Like, if
Yes.
you got like,
Yes.
yeah, a
Yes,
good
dude.
Yes.
ensemble with like violins and all that. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's that's just I could work off of that for like days.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
At the same time, like vocals is also a big part. You'll have like artists like Shaka Khan where if you hear their vocal, it's just like, okay, there's so much I could do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a prime example would be Through the Wire by Kanye West.
Ooh.
My
Yeah.
man knows his stuff. My man knows
Yeah.
his
Like
stuff.
Yo.
the way he like you could still tell it's Shaka Khan's song, but the way he
Yes.
flipped it,
Yes.
it's I I have to throw respect where respect is due. Like I don't know where Kanye's at right now. He's kind of but if you go back to like college dropout Kanye
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and like late registration Kanye, his samples as a producer, man, he knew what samples to pick out and how to flip them.
Dude, that's amazing. You said through the
It,
wire. I love that. I love that sample. That
Hmm.
sample's fucking
you
amazing,
know,
dude.
she's hella salty about that song.
Is she really?
Yeah, she is.
So
Yeah.
she
Yes.
thought when Kanye approached her, they were going to collab on a song, but then he
Oh,
just used the fucking sample.
Yeah, she was pretty pissed.
Yeah, she
She
was
was pretty
hella
pissed, man.
upset.
She was asking for money, man. She was
Yeah,
asking for her
dude, she
money.
was upset.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of Kanye, bro, like, I have a question for you. Who is someone you would love to collab with?
oh man.
Did you have like a superstar collab that you would love to do, man? That you're just hoping to get one day?
Yo, fuck it, fam. Name them all, fam. Name them all.
Name them all, dude. Name them
I
all,
feel
dude.
like one of my dreams is to collab with every artist that New Job has collabed with. If I could do
Wow.
that, or at least up to three of them,
Yeah.
then I feel like I did my job as a producer.
Yo,
Wow.
you know what? Like, if like substantial like hopped on one of your beats, fam, that'd be
Yo, I actually
crazy.
hit him up a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude, that um that's crazy. Like, so any artist that he worked with, yo, what if you got like substantial and like Shingo too on there, man? Like, could you
that'd be
imagine?
dope.
My mind will implode, dude. I don't know, dude. I think I'd die. Fucking die, dude. I'd be so fucking juiced for you. Besides that, is there anyone else? Like, I mean, what about like here? What about like other rappers, or
Yeah,
maybe
like
like
what like
another producer that you would like love to like?
or like a beat that you would like to make for a rapper.
If I could work with, let me see, some of the more well-known rappers, I go with Childish Gambino,
Mm,
Charles gonna be
I
J.
like that
Cole,
one. J. Cole. Good, good.
and Kendrick. But I feel like Kendrick's kind of picky with his beats.
So yeah, I think you go really well with
I
Childish, man.
you and Childish Gambino would go like super dope. Um, you and J. Cole would actually be pretty fire too. I think about like
Yeah.
that Saint what song was it on Forest Hill Drive? Saint Topaz.
Saint Topaz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Topaz. Yeah.
because he used. Okay, so I swear to God, I don't remember if it's that song, but I swear to God, he used like either a sample that Nujabes used or sampled Nujabes, and I was like freaking out. And I don't know if it's one of those things where I think I heard it, so then it's like yes, it has to be that, or maybe I'm just like totally wrong and I'm trying to fucking fangirl. Uh,
I think I have two more. So if I'm gonna throw in Lupe Fiasco
ooh,
and Talib Kweli, yeah,
Ooh.
I work with those two
Oh,
too.
Tyler Quali. Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
dude,
dude.
you got Lance
Hell
Pipes.
yeah.
You named like two, three of his
Dude.
favorite rappers, man.
Bro. I'm like, you're like my best friend right now, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Like the way you're explaining shit, your analogies, bro. It's crazy because I think the same exact fucking way, bro. It's fucking crazy, bro. It's mind blowing. It's just mind blowing to me right now.
So like we've been talking about it the whole night. We talked about like one anime in particular, but and you kind of talked about how when you had that rapper name, you were trying to be like this thug, but that's
Mhm.
not really who you were. You're just like a regular kid that liked anime and played video games, like us. So with that being said, like anime and video games are such a big part of your life. Have you ever thought about like producing a soundtrack for a game or an anime or anything? Like
I have, yeah.
I could like totally hear you do like a retro series on like a Mega Man game or something, dude. Like that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I'm actually a big Mega Man X fan, and I'm like into the whole like there's a lot of like I want to say maybe like 70% of the PC gaming market now is a lot of it has that retro feel to it.
Yeah,
Mm,
And
it's
like
definitely
mhm,
coming back. It's a thing now.
yeah, like I've thought about producing that kind of music, and I've thought about producing like music too towards anime, but like the sad thing is I haven't seen a lot of hip hop in today's anime lately. The way like Samurai Champloo did it. Um,
Yeah, that's true. It's
yeah.
all. I mean, I love like J rock and like J pop too, but like I guess that's like kind of the thing played in a lot of like the opening themes for like a lot of animes. You
Mm.
think of like Naruto or like Bleach, which by the way they also had like amazing soundtracks too. Like I think if it wasn't for Naruto, I would have not known who like Asian Kung Fu Generation was, and they are one of my favorite like groups bands out of Japan. Um, but oh, I'm trying to remember what I was gonna ask. Shit. Oh, there's so much.
I think that's the thing because most anime is like J-pop and J-rock.
Hmm.
It'd be difficult for me to try to pitch a hip hop like opening to them. And unless
mm,
like the rest of the soundtrack is geared towards that kind of like music, they probably wouldn't pick up any of my beats either. Cause like if you listen to like all the background music anime, it won't necessarily be hip hop anymore. Like the closest you'll probably get to like hip hop in anime nowadays would be like if say there's some kind of like festival with like a live performance that had something to do with hip hop, but like you wouldn't have any like series just centered around it the way Samurai Champloo was.
mm.
So I don't want to say it died out like like the mixtapes did, but it's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, I don't think it
Uh,
was really there. I feel like that was just like an anomaly. It was just the
Ah,
one out of everything. But yeah, dude, I think you know you'd make a fucking killer soundtrack on like some
I think
games,
so too.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah, you,
especially now you think of all the I guess kind of like chill, laid back games that don't require like crazy like technical skill and everything. Like one of them I'm thinking is like Ori and the Blind Forest. Like platformers, I
oh,
feel platformers have like come back a lot, right?
yeah.
Be well, maybe they were always popular because of like Mario games, but I think that like yo, dude, you could totally create a soundtrack for like some platformer game like that, and it'd be
yeah, I could
crazy.
definitely see you that. I could definitely see you. Do you have like a favorite anime right now, or what was your first anime that you like watched?
Oh yes, what's the first anime you ever
Same.
watched, dude?
I was about to say Dragon Ball, but I feel like way before that, I was watching Ronin Warriors. If you guys remember that.
Ronin Warriors was the shit. I recently tried coming back to watch Ronin Warriors again, and it's a
Mhm.
little rough. But
It is.
but you know what? I miss that art style, like that 80s, 90s, like super dark and gritty, but everything was like super super freaking detailed. Like
Yeah.
I'm a big Gundam fan, so like I'll rewatch some of the older Gundam series, and then especially like some of like the Gundam movies. You see like when they're in the cockpit, dude, you see all the details with like all the different like displays
Everything,
and
like
the
all the buttons,
buttons,
the lights.
everything,
Yeah.
or like even on like the little thing that they use to like control the thrust, you see the individual buttons and like some wear and tear and stuff. And I was just like, dude, that's crazy. You don't see that in anime now. You just see kids with eyes that take up like half of their face.
That's true. When you say Gundam fan, are you? It's not just like Gundam Wing, Gundam Seed, right? It's stuff like 0083 Stardust Memory or like Char's Counterattack.
Char's gonna attack. Yes, I don't remember what they called that. Like Universal Century, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was. Yeah, no, like Gundam Wing's definitely probably like the first one because of course like Toonami and everything.
True, true.
But
Yeah.
I guess I was like more interested in that like Universal Century, and my favorite. A lot of people like I guess G Gundam was like really cool because I thought G Gundam was like Dragon Ball Z meets like Gundam. You
That
know,
yeah, I like that one. Yeah,
that was
where
cool, but like
they mixed
what
martial arts with mobile suits, basically.
um Gundam Seed was okay, but I guess my biggest issue is that with that is kind of like the love story or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then, what's his name? I can't remember the main character's name. Um
Not Kira.
yeah, I think it might be Kira, is it?
No, because Kira piloted the Destiny. I think you're talking about the guy that piloted the Strike Freedom, right?
Yes.
Forgot his name.
I can't remember his name, but anyways, he definitely pulled like some like I'm Jesus and I came back from the dead type shit. Or like just crazy power ups or something. I thought the
Mhm.
whole like coordinator thing was like super cool. But then I was just like, oh, isn't that kind of like what the specials were in like Gundam Wing? And then even before that in like the first Mobile Suit Gundam, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they would have like uh it wouldn't be like telepathy or maybe like it kind of was. I don't remember fully, but I think we're going like way off topic, but fuck it, because yeah, I love anime and Gundam. I think my last
Yeah.
favorite Gundam series was probably Iron Blood Orphans because it was so graphic and not your typical like Gundam
Yeah, that
series.
was a good one. Yeah.
Do
For
you have
me, I liked Double O.
Double O was cool, but I had a very difficult time getting into it. I'm not gonna lie, I still have not finished the series, the first or the second. Um,
do you have a certain anime that you get inspiration from? Like, do you like put like a certain anime in the background while you're making beats, or
Oh, if I had to do, I've seen a lot of producers do that where they'll make beats
oh,
on their pads and then they'll have
yeah,
like anime playing in the background.
yeah,
If I had to do that, mine would be Bleach.
Bleach.
Bleach. Okay,
Yeah.
Oh
okay,
yes. Oh dude, you are a huge Bleach fan. I
nice, nice.
forgot about
That's
that.
dope. That's dope. Because I know a lot of rappers, a lot of artists, like they do like Dragon Ball Z. Some do Naruto.
Those are good
Uh,
go-tos, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But Bleach, that's dope. Is why Bleach though? I just want.
So like I respect like the other larger franchises like Dragon Ball Z,
Mm,
Naruto, One Piece, but I wanted to deviate from that group and when I found out about Bleach, I'm like the whole idea of like swords, like I'm a big fan of like swords, right? And the fact
I
that their
got you.
swords like transform, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whoa, okay, I can get into this.
Dude, yes. And then
Got you.
Ichigo
I
had
got you.
like, you know, his I forgot what they called it there before like their swords can like transform. But like his compared to like everyone else was like just like this giant ass sword that reminds you
Mhm.
of like Cloud's like Buster sword.
Yeah,
And oh dude, you're sorry, you're also a big Final Fantasy fan, aren't you?
I am. I have this deep affinity for RPGs.
The
So like
JRPGs,
Final
yes.
Fantasy, yeah, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. Star Ocean, all that stuff. Yeah,
I could actually see you making a beat for Final Fantasy or like the music in there for some reason.
oh,
I could actually. Yeah,
that
Yeah, I have a feel.
I've
I heard a
pretty good.
couple. I'm not too fond of Final Fantasy, but I heard like a couple songs, like their intros and everything. I could see you going to that game
hey,
and making a beat or so.
I
if
could
For
sample
sure.
a Final
if
Fantasy track.
Skrillex could make a song for fucking Kingdom Hearts, you can make a fucking song for Final
Hey,
Fantasy,
that's
dude.
true.
There you
You can
go.
make a
There you
song
go.
for Final Fantasy, fam. But this is the last question that we like to ask everyone on the stream.
Yep.
And
Yes,
in your
sir.
case, what is it, Lance?
Your top five producers, since you're a producer. If you want to do top five rappers as well too, go right ahead as well, my man.
Yes. In no particular order. It doesn't
No
have to be in
particular
order,
order.
but if you want to put them in order, feel free to put them in order, fam.
All right. So I'll do both. We'll go with since you guys usually do rappers, we'll do rappers first.
Okay. Okay.
So for top five in no particular order,
Mm-hmm.
I would do Size Star,
Okay.
Okay.
Naive. I'm
Okay.
not sure if you guys are familiar with him. Um, Verbal from M Flow.
Verbal is oh good. Oh shit. Okay. Hold. Yeah, I'm about to geek out. Yes. Yes. Continue.
There you go.
Watsky. I'm not sure if you guys know him. He's a Bay
Watsky,
Area boy.
really? Oh
Yeah.
shit,
Okay. Okay.
And Dumbfounded.
dude.
Okay.
The other night, me and Lance were playing old like grind time
Grind time.
dumbfounded. You remember battle rap dumbfounded before you started making music?
I do, yeah.
Dude.
Bro. He's got some funny ass punchlines. I totally forgot that he does that shit, man. It's crazy.
Okay, your top five rapper. Sorry, your top five rappers is definitely different, but I love it, especially with
I do,
verbal.
yeah. Yeah,
Verbal, dude. I love M Flow. M Flow
People love
is
man.
M Flow is a part of my fucking dude. Like the MySpace days, dude.
Oh
Like
man.
I used to always have like the M Flow tracks on there. That's crazy. And then even when he like branched off and he did like the whole like Teriyaki Boys and everything,
Hmm.
like Verbal was so dope. You ever heard of this group called like I think it was like Monkey Magic? They're from
I have,
Japan
yeah.
too. Oh, dude,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
also
Monkey
fucking
Magic.
sick. Yeah, or like DJ. Oh, do you remember DJ Mitsu Beats?
I do, yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
another banger. Okay. Sorry. All right, so we got your top five rappers. All right, what about top five favorite producers?
For producers, you got New Jabez,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
you got
Let's
Jay
get it.
Dilla,
Mm-hmm.
Jay Dilla. Okay.
you got Ninth Wonder.
Woo!
Ooh, you and Ryan both said Ninth Wonder.
I
Yo,
like that.
he's a good
I like
pick.
that.
Okay.
DJ Taku of M Flow.
DJ Taku. Oh shit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other half. And then DJ Dex Cream.
R.I.P. DJ Dextream.
Okay.
R.I.P.
Yep.
DJ Dextream.
That's
Yo,
crazy.
that is crazy, dude.
I like your list, bro, because the first four that you named on your rappers, I had never heard of them, but now I'm gonna look them up and see why they're in your top five. And so like a couple of the producers I never heard of. So I
Mhm.
really like your picks, dude. Like real talk, real talk. I'm really gonna look these up and just like decipher
Would,
all of them.
would you say that like your top five favorite producers really like kind of influenced like your sound?
Yes. All
Yes.
five of the ones I listed like heavily influenced my style, yeah.
Because like I definitely hear like the Nujabes and then the Jay Dilla. The crazy thing about Jay Dilla for me is that earlier you mentioned that like they're way on opposite sides of like the spectrum. Because
Mhm.
Jay Dilla get a beat, he'll do like he'll pick a sample, he'll chop it, however, and then like like I don't know what the fuck he does, like fucking voodoo magic and like sprinkle like fairy dust on it or whatever, and it just like comes out with like some crazy shit that you would never fucking imagine. And like I also hear that with you with like how you chop up samples and everything, and then like you put your own twist on it. The Ninth Wonder vibe that I really like that
Hell
makes
yeah.
a lot of sense because I do kind of get all the Ninth Wonder beats to me personally. Like they're really kind of like mellow, chill, but like they're bangers, you know.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
that's you, man. That's you. Like they're mellow and chill, but they're fucking bangers.
hell yeah, bro.
Um, so I guess another question. I kind of want to keep this going, fam. Um,
I'm actually real interested.
Another question I have, and we asked Ryan this too, and then we asked the homie Kush that we interviewed, but we feel that it's tough for an artist to make it out of the Bay Area, especially. And we were trying to like wonder why, because I've heard in like past interviews that sometimes it basically comes down to like beef. Like you think of like a lot of like popular Bay Area artists now. Like the most popular ones that I can think of like off tops would be like Kehlani.
Hmm.
Kehlani would be one, Pilo, I am
Mhm.
Sue, Jeezy, and like Nef the Pharaoh. And
Hmm.
that's like we won't include like Too Short or E40. But we're like I was just wondering like do you have an opinion or like what's your take on it? Or you ever thought about that?
I feel like it's because, and I'm not trying to be biased here, but for the Bay Area, we have a very distinct kind of sound.
Yes.
Like, if you listen to mainstream music, all these artists have to follow like this cookie cutter example to make it so that their music can get played across the entire nation, right? It has to have
Mhm.
like this universal sound to it. But when you look at the Bay, you've got like the slang to it where if you ever hear, and we have to exclude like Too Short and E40 because, yeah, if you ever hear a song come out of here that makes it across all of the US, you'll know it's coming from here. Like, it's hard
Mhm.
to explain
Mhm.
that, but you'll know. Like, it's like this signature sound that only comes out of here. So, if an artist were to make it out of the Bay Area, I don't want to say they like sold their soul and went mainstream and tried to emulate what's popular nowadays. It's just they did something good enough to the point where they could take the Bay with them, where they can pretty much produce music where it'll be liked across the entire nation, but at the same time, if you listen hard enough, you'll hear like the heart and soul of the Bay Area in it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like Kalani is a pretty good example. Yeah.
That's okay. All right. Dang.
Uh,
Yeah. No, I
it
definitely agree.
it gets you thinking. It gets you thinking.
Yes. Yes. But I would say, do you agree? Yeah, agree or disagree, or no comment. But I feel like the Bay Area has like the best producers out of anywhere else.
Yo, I gotta agree because I'm part of that group.
Yes, that's what I
Yes,
like
dude.
to hear. That's what I like
Hell
to
yeah.
hear, fam.
Hell yeah. Hell
Yes,
yeah, bro. Hell yeah.
yes, yeah. I do feel that. No, but like straight up, I feel that besides everything you said, I also feel that like our sound, a lot of people try to imitate our sound,
Mm-hmm.
and I it, when I was like living in Florida, I remember at the time it was probably like 2012 or around there or whatever. I was freaking out because I heard them playing "Up" by like I Am Sue, and was it I Am Sue, Love Rants,
Mm-hmm.
and hearing that, and then like everyone out there like not understanding like why I'm so hyped, and I was just like, well, first of all, they're from the Bay Area, I'm from the Bay Area, that's why I'm hyped.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized it was kind of what you said. It was so out there and not what they're kind of like used to hearing. Because I was just like, yo, dude, this shit slap. Like, it goes so fucking hard. But I couldn't explain to them, like, why, you know? I don't know. That's just random, but thinking of that.
No, we get what you say though.
Like you can't go to New York and play songs by the team and then expect the same reaction.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah,
Definitely.
definitely not.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned the
Def-
team because I always thought like Clyde Carson, who is one of the members of the team, for all you young kids, or if there are any young kids watching, um, I always felt that like, yo, he's definitely from the Bay. You can tell he's from the Bay. He has like that Bay swagger, but he kind of had like that. To me, he kind of had like a New York like style of rapping. Not really like the boom bap type stuff, but he, I would just like hear New York from him. And I
I
don't
can
know
get
if it's
that.
just
I
because
can
like
see
it's
that.
his. I don't know if it's just because his voice, because he also has like a pretty distinct voice.
Yeah, I think yeah, that New York. Wow, when you said that, that's right because his voice is really distinct and it feels like he's not from the Bay. It feels like he's from New York, like the way he talks
Yeah,
and
now that I
everything.
think
So
about it,
that's crazy. That's interesting, actually.
yeah,
Yo,
that's a good observation.
yo, glad I can make y'all woke. Um, but with
Damn.
that, I mean, yo, anything else you want to add? Any more questions you want to ask him, Lance?
Oh man, if I ask any more questions, bro, we're gonna be here for 3 hours, bro, because I'm picking his brain. But I think I'm good. I'm good for right now, man. I'm good for right now. Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Okay. Yo, thank you, JP, for hopping on. Appreciate it. Great
Yes.
conversation.
Yes. Great
Learned a
vibes,
lot.
bro.
Learned a lot. Got to nerd out a lot.
Hell
So
yeah.
definitely cool. But yeah, so where can we find you, dude? Your socials and everything.
Uh, so you can find me on SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all under Jollibeats.
Mm-hmm.
And just recently, I got verified on Spotify, so I'll start uploading my music
Ooh.
on there too. Yeah.
Okay,
Sick.
you heard that. You
Sick.
heard that. And
Hell yeah.
before we go, I mean, do you have any projects or anything that you got coming up?
So I've been laying low and kind of like under the radar lately, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
planning to release an EP later on this year. Kind of like a
Ooh.
comeback because it's been a while since I've dropped anything big. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
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 Yeah, I feel.
Summertime. So like summertime vibes, fall vibes.
Oh
What can
yeah,
we
can you give
expect
us a
More so
there?
like
hint?
fall vibes because
Fall
Fall
vibes.
vibes,
Okay.
I feel like lo-fi
somber.
thrives on the whole somber, yeah,
Sick.
Yes.
rainy day,
Sick.
cold, overcast season, yeah.
I like the way you're thinking, man.
Your
Sick.
last
I
your
like that.
last project or the last songs I was listening to are actually those lo-fi tracks that you produced. You had like the Sailor Moon thing like looping in the background, the initial D
Mhm.
loop. Um yeah, dude. I'm looking forward to whatever stuff you have like in the lab
Yeah,
and you're cooking up, man.
just keep
Definitely.
an eye out for like those one-offs, like the ones you just mentioned. They're kind
Hmm.
of there just to kind of wet the palate, just to
Yeah,
keep you going.
I
got you,
got you.
got you.
Got you. Hell yeah.
All right, fam. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. You guys can catch us again next week. We'll be back to our regular schedule. We usually stream Wednesdays and Thursdays, but due to circumstances, we got to push it back. But dang, JP, thanks for coming on, fam. I
Thank you
really
for
want
Bro.
having
to.
me.
I want to get you. Maybe we could plan this in the future, but I really want to get like you and Ryan like on here at the same time
Oh,
Yo,
to have like
that'll
we
be
need to
interview.
do
dope.
a show.
That'll be sick.
That'd be
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Like, oh, maybe JP produce a beat, a little something on the spot, and then Ryan a little quick
Oh, if you could produce
freestyle
a
on the.
speed on our show, that'd be sick, bro. Like just like show us the steps on how you produce those.
Yo, I'm down.
That-
Like with the whole Discord thing, I'm pretty sure I could share my screen and sound, so I could probably walk you through the
yes.
process. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Definitely,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
we'll work with that.
bro.
And with that being said, guys, thank you. Have a good night. Appreciate y'all
Good
coming
night,
through.
guys. Peace.
Peace.